Thank you, President Mangelsdorf, Dr. Taubman, families watching online, members of the platform party. It is my honor to be able to speak with you today, and I'm so excited that you chose to have me make remarks today. So the great Maya Angelou said, "Do the best you can until you know better. But then when you know better, do better." After a year that has challenged what we know and believe about so many things, we can all agree that this is a moment for us to do better, and it's now. Graduation day is a time to look to the future and consider all that you will accomplish, but it's also a time to acknowledge what you have already accomplished. And as a graduate of the University of Rochester Medical School, you have done the best you can, and now you know better. You've heard the word meliora many times today. It's the university's motto, but you've lived it. Don't talk about it, you've been about it, and you have. For instance, you've sustained the medical student run-free clinics, and you've inspired the movement towards racial justice on campus that will leave it ever better. And you've been flexible, you've been agile, and you've been able to set a new course during unprecedented challenges. You are ever better. We know that throughout history, we haven't always done better. In the early 1990s, eugenics was common and accepted. Black, Puerto Rican, and Native American people underwent government-funded sterilization. We all know about the Tuskegee study and its deception and ethical abuses. And even today, there remain challenges. So we look to you, graduates, to keep us honest, to keep us accountable. It was like people like you who asked, why are we doing this, who ended up changing the course of history. As practitioners of medicine, you have an opportunity to bring light to our history and to help us bring about the equity and inclusivity we need today. So, why do better? First, as a graduate of the University of Rochester, you will not only be a practitioner of medicine, you will be a leader who understands that it's not just business or medicine as usual. What we know about medicine is changing, how its knowledge is applied is changing, and this change offers us an opportunity to learn more about humanity than ever before. As an example, many of you have decided to reject the practice of race-based medicine, and you're treating patients as individuals and having more compassion for them. Second, you get to be the generation that rewrites history through fresh ink, fresh eyes, and fresh perspective. You will have the privilege of examining the world through a different lens, a biopsychosocial lens that places a priority on being inclusive and providing better care for all. Now, no one in this room is a stranger to the importance of definitions. Think of the word anti-racist. Now, that word has gotten a lot of press this last year. What does it really mean to be an anti-racist? You've certainly heard people say, I'm not a racist, but yet it goes deeper than that. Let me explain. So author and scholar Ibram Kendi's definition of what it means to be an anti-racist calls for us to think nothing is behaviorally wrong, inferior, or superior with any other racial groups. Let me just repeat that. Think nothing is behaviorally wrong, inferior, or superior with any of the racial groups. He goes on to say, to be an anti-racist is to deracialize behavior. Behavior is something humans do, not races do. So the word anti-racism is so important that we put it in the title of the Medical Center's 5-year plan to build, recruit, nurture, exemplify, and engage in the work of being anti-racist. It's called the Equity and Anti-Racism Action Plan. Your voice is in that plan. It was your activism that set it into motion. As alumni, we encourage continued momentum and for you to keep us accountable. On this graduation day, we honor you. You guys have earned it. Tomorrow, you will honor others through your work. It's a privilege that comes with great responsibility. And a colleague of mine, Dr. Flavia Nobe, is known for sharing her rules to live by on graduation day. I was so inspired by her that I developed my own rules and hope that you will consider these to be part of the new oath to uphold the value of truly inclusive healthcare, to be an anti-racist in your medical career. So first, don't run from tension and discomfort. That's really where the learning and change happens. We're so conditioned to be pain averse, but lean into that pain because that's where you grow and that's where you will make a difference. I was raised during the end of the Jim Crow era, and so I know what it's like to be forced to use the colored bathroom. My dad was in the military, and we lived in the South. And I remember asking him why there were colored-only bathrooms, and the pain on my parents' face as they said to me, "That's just the way it is." Now, don't get me wrong, my parents were not complacent about the racism they endured. And as a child, I did not realize that my parents were working hard to ensure that my 3 sisters and I, along with a whole host of other children, would have a better chance and better opportunities. They did better. Like my parents, I've made it my business to walk up to discomfort and challenge it. I don't ever want to have to tell my grandchildren, "That's just the way it is," and I don't ever want you to have to tell your children the same thing. We cannot be complacent. It's not enough to say we want change. We need action. Second, recognize your privilege and power as doctors. You will ascend to new heights in your career, you'll achieve promotions and enjoy praise, but please don't forget to use your power, your influence to help others. The shadow of your influence will extend to places you may not even foresee. At age 53, I went back to school and earned my PhD, and without the help and support of many of the people on this stage, I may not have made it. So don't be afraid to take a risk. Think back to that person who sparked an interest in medicine. Do you remember that moment? Why was it that that person was so inspiring? There's a good chance for them medicine wasn't just business as usual. And I've had the privilege of reading the personal statements of many medical school applicants as part of the admissions committee. They described the moment where it clicked for them. Medicine wasn't just their profession, it was their calling. It takes a very special person to do the work that you will do. And there will come a day when an aspiring doctor will look to you to be inspired. And finally, the last part of my new oath, meet your patients on their own level. Be the doctor who honors the lived experiences of their patients, whether they're transitioning or realizing their sexual and gender expression. Develop a sense of cultural awareness for your Black, Latinx, Asian, and Native American patients. You have within you to be the potential to be a leader in this next evolution or revolution. There is systemic racism that permeates our society. Healthcare can be that shining light that exposes it and brings around that equity and inclusivity that we need. When you leave here today and take off your cap and gown, promise yourself, promise each other, and most importantly, promise your patients that you will be an anti-racist. Knowing what you know now, you will do better. It will be inconvenient, but you will find a way and make it part of everything that you do. In 1960, Wilma Rudolph, a great African-American athlete, became the first American woman to win 3 gold medals in track and field at the same Olympic Games. It was incredible considering she had polio and scarlet fever as a child and was told by her doctor she'd never walk again. She said, "Never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit. We are all the same in this notion. The potential for greatness lives within each of us, and it lives within each of you. And you will make your mark on history, and we will all be ever better for it." Congratulations, class of 2021. I'm so proud of you. Thank you.